Hi everyone, join me on an amazing, quick and adventurous getaway to Zion National Park. I went there for 3 days, 3 nights with my brother and sister-in-law. Shout out to them, thank you for planning the whole trip and letting me tag along. The park is home to over 400 different animals, all spread across its unique natural landscapes of desert, mountains, canyons, and rivers. This video documents our itinerary, so join us to see what we did and how we did it. We drove to Zion National Park from Vegas, which was about 2.5-hour trip. Note, you will be driving across time zones, so be prepared for that. My brother knows that I'm a fatty, so already had brought delicious banh mi sandwiches and buns from a Vietnamese shop in Vegas. Highly recommend doing the same if you have time. Vegas has amazing Vietnamese food. I dare say it's better than New York City. The drive was so beautiful, and thank you, brother, since he did drive the whole way. I couldn't stop looking out the window. It was just so magical, and it's really nice to just drift away listening to some lo-fi, chill hop, or a podcast. Our first hike was to the Canyon Overlook Trail. So here you see that we're driving up to get to there. Round trip when you start hiking was about a mile. Maximum elevation was 5,270 feet. You'll notice that I go from regular pace to then fast pace here. I sped it up so that you guys can all see the great scenery. This was such a great start to our stay. It was so breathtaking and stunning views of the entire canyon. We went in early December, so a bit chilly. I would recommend wearing a few layers, a vest, of course, hiking boots, a beanie, and a pair of gloves. Being the typical little monkey that I am, I had to sprint to the farthest and highest ledge that I could find without getting in trouble from my brother and sister-in-law. And this is the result. I put my foot there on purpose so we can all see at scale the depth and greatness of the canyon. It's just so breathtaking and stunning everywhere you looked. This really just got me excited for the entire trip, especially because I have been injured since July with a herniated disc. I was worried if I could even hike this, but gladly to report, as you can see, I was able to, and I really think it's because I was just so excited, adrenaline pumping. I think pain was just not in my mind at all. But again, really fun. I just love being in nature like this. We got back to Springdale and stayed at the Bumbleberry Inn. They had some really fun Christmas decorations of Scrooge, and then they also had a petting farm, so you can see the goats here, and then there were chickens and bunnies as well. It was just so pretty because we got to catch the sunset as well. And then I ended the night with a really needed soak in their outdoor hot tub. The next morning, we woke up pretty early to catch the beautiful sunrise. It was just so magical. Everywhere you turned, you saw hues of pink, orange, and purple. The mountains, they didn't even look real anymore. It was just so stunning. The Bumbleberry Inn has a great breakfast that is included, which you grab at the restaurant Porter's. Portions were quite big, so you are definitely getting your body ready for a long day of activities. For our first full day at Zion, we started our adventures at the Narrows. Since we went in December, it was pretty chilly and we needed to rent gear. If you go in the summer, a lot of people just go in without gear, but it was definitely cold, so we went and rented from Zion Outfitter. I think altogether for the bib, boots, and walking stick, it was about $60. Here you'll see in 2x speed, we are trying to hike to the entrance of the Narrows. The Narrows was an unforgettable trail hike. I felt like I was transplanted to a different planet and voyaging on as an explorer of foreign lands. I've never watched Star Wars, but for some reason I really felt like I was a Jedi, especially with my walking stick. The water was definitely cold and would often come up right above my belly button. I'm about 5'8", if that helps in scaling for you all. We were there for about 3 to 4 hours, and it was one way for the most part, so you really can't get lost. We stopped where it split at the Overlook Gulch. But again, as you saw, everywhere you went, it was just an adventure, so much fun. You see my brother and my sister-in-law, and I'm trekking on forward. There is my brother crossing a stream into times speed, and as soon as we get to the other side, we are exploring some dried land, and then a few steps later, we're back in the water. So be careful because the landscape does change quite often, and you really want to be cautious of where you are stepping, especially on the slippery rocks. The total hike we did was about 3 to 4 hours. After the Narrows, we all decided to enjoy a bike ride around the grounds of Zion National Park. You can rent out e-bikes if you want to, but we wanted a workout, so we stuck with regular bikes. Here you see that we are whizzing around on the path that's just for runners, walkers, or for bicycles. You can also just drive around. You really can't go wrong in just soaking in the scenery of all that this park has to offer. One thing I have to note is don't be like me and stick to one gear thinking that it's a great challenge. I injured my right knee and was limping the entire way in the next few days. Here we enjoyed a burger that was much needed. And then afterwards, for the evening, we are making our way to our cabin at the Zion National Park Lodge. Shout out to my sister-in-law who booked this for us. So it was a cute little cabin, perfect for the 3 of us, 1 bed for them, and then 1 bed all to myself. A quick mini tour of the cabin. So again, the 2 beds. Walk down a mini hallway. To the left, there was a sink, a microwave, and then a fridge below. And then to the right of that mini hallway, it was the bathroom. The next morning, we woke up pretty early again to get our day started for our next adventure, which was to Angel's Landing. So here you see I'm giving a quick view of the grounds of the Zion National Park Lodge. When we got there in the evening, it was pitch dark, so we couldn't really film anything. But you can see again, I keep saying it over and over, it's just so breathtaking everywhere you look. They had a breakfast buffet for us, so there was pancakes, some hash browns, some sausage, bacon, scrambled eggs, the usual American breakfast buffet. We got ready and then started making our way to Angel's Landing by taking the Grotto trail from the Zion National Park Lodge. You can also just drive your car from the lodge to the entrance of Angel's Landing Trail, or like where the Grotto trail ends, but we just decided to walk even though I was limping most of the way since I injured my right knee from the bike ride. Nonetheless, adrenaline kicked in and I just couldn't get enough of the trail. As you walked higher and higher, each step made me feel like, again, I'm on another planet and I'm exploring this new land. Like, again, I just felt like a Jedi, although I didn't have a walking stick, although probably would have been helpful with this limping leg. When we got to the entrance of Angel's Landing, we had to show our permit. So if you do decide to do Angel's Landing, make sure that you have that permit. There is a park ranger that checks if you have the permit at the entrance. You can easily go on to their website and apply for the permit in the lottery system. And luckily we got it, and so we were able to do this. We were also lucky that even though we went early December, there was no ice on the trail. Here you see that I sped in front of my family, and actually my sister-in-law decided to stay behind, which is also a very important thing to think about for yourself. Yes, this trail is a lot of fun, but also very challenging. So know yourself, trust yourself, whether you want to do it or not. Make sure that you're in good health, and that you are safe. I am recording my brother going up the trail. He isn't as crazy as me, I would say, so I kept running forward, maybe being a bit too dangerous while he was cautioning me. So we balanced each other out well, because I do push him and I tease him and of course support him, but he does ground me and make sure that even though I can be adventurous, I should be also responsible. At this point, we're about 75% there. As you can see, there are some parts of the trail that has railings, and here there isn't. Another panoramic view. I just couldn't get enough of the scenery all around. I would recommend not being like me if you don't hike often or work out. Again, it's probably smarter to be like my brother, be focused on holding the trail lines and making sure that you have your balance. For the most part, I had one hand on my phone to record this, while the other one may or may not have supported me. So again, make sure you really know your own limits and be careful and take it slow and easy. We're almost there. My brother is so funny. He was exhausted by then, and I am now just sprinting forward, going the last few steps until we got to the very top. And here we are at Angel's Landing. We have made it, and our reward is another breathtaking view of the valleys and canyons of Zion National Park. We took a quick break at the top and had a bite to eat, and then we started making our way down. It was a lot harder to get down, in my personal opinion, just because I have messed up knees, so it hurts when I'm going down the stairs or down a mountain or a trail rather than climbing up the stairs or climbing up a hill or mountain. So again, here I'm trying to be very careful, even though I am recording and taking in the view while holding on to the line. We ended our night in, just went to sleep, and the next morning my brother and I just did a drive around the park. We got to see this really cool futuristic car in front of us, and then we just did another quick tour around all the places that we visited. So we went all the way down back to the Narrows Trail, then we drove a parallel to the bike ride that we did, and then we spun around back to the lodge. During this time, we got to see beautiful glimpses of the sun coming up, the rays reflecting on the mountains. You see those beautiful orange hues. This was a great way to end our trip, our full, technically 3 days, 3 nights, because we started in the afternoon on the first day and then ended in the afternoon on the last day. There you have it, a 3-day, 3-night itinerary at Zion National Park in Utah, USA. I highly recommend everyone to come and experience this. It truly is a piece of heaven on earth.